Hey Sagittarius, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we're actually doing the monthly readings, okay? So looking ahead at May, what's in store for you. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you stay up to date with all the readings. You're more than welcome to leave me comments for any suggestions for future topics you want me to look into. I do really appreciate all the comments, the likes, the subscribes, guys. So keep it up. Thank you so much. This week we are doing a bit of a green herbal type theme this week. We're using the Green Witch Oracle. I also have here the lenormand. When we look at career, we are going to use the Purposeful Career Oracle deck, and doing something a little bit different this week. We are going to be looking at health with the Health Secrets of Medicinal Herbs book, and find a herb relevant for you. But getting sort of straight on into it, Sagittarius, splitting the month, start, middle, and end. What does Sagittarius need to know in regard to May? What's going on for Sagittarius, start, middle, and end of May 2025? When I first held up this deck and I said the Green Witch Oracle, I felt as though there's a couple of you that are very happy about that. So I might have some Sagittarian witches in the audience today. So welcome. We're starting off with ritual with the corn coming through firstly. So that's all about ritual, that there's a process that things need to take at the start of May. With corn, you have to harvest it from the stalk. You then have to peel back all the layers, remove all the little white stringy things off the corn before you can actually eat the corn. Okay. So there is a process to the corn. It's like a little ritual of having to go through this process each and every time that you want corn. You can't just chew on into it straight off the stalk. You do need to follow this ritual in order to eat corn. And then quite a lot of us have added rituals to that you can only eat. Some people only eat corn when it's in just the kernels, so not on the cob. Some people like to have the little cob holder things, and quite often you see the ritual of having to put butter on corn, things like that. Sweet corn, so there is a lot of sweetness that comes through. It's that but it's like multiples. It's not just one. Even though there's one whole, there's lots of little different things that do make up this whole, and all of those little segments are important in the ritual there. So you don't want to if you've ever had corn where you've had like one little black piece and you have to pull out that piece, because otherwise it's going to ruin the whole cob experience. So there's a sense of ritual for you at the start of May here, and it's all about having all the little segments of things in the exact right spot for you. Things needing to be happening in a very certain kind of a way for you at the start of May, to make the whole sweet kind of energy here. So if you will clarify what exactly that's all about for you. Sagittarius, start of May for Sagittarius, please. And it's a lot of peeling back the layers to get to the goodness, I feel, for a lot of you. Having to sort of peel back the layers and go through the ritual of, removing all the crap from the surface of whatever's going on for you here, so that you can get to, I feel like it's, I want to say, the truth, the full story at the center here for you. Oh, definitely a lot of stuff going on with that there, because we do have the letters coming through first, which is communication and clear, open, honest communication. For some of you, this is more to do with, paperwork, where it's kind of like reading the terms and conditions to something, I feel, and, making sure we're going through that ritual of reading very carefully what we're about to sign away to, so that we can, check all the facts before we get to the inside and the sweetness and what we're getting out of the deal kind of thing. So I am picking up for some of you here, there is a deal in process at the start of May, but it's very important to follow the ritual, to follow read through the contracts, read through all the information that is presented to you. So if you are dealing with anything paperwork, kind of contract related at the start of May, terms and conditions, that sort of thing, definitely make sure you're reading through all that, and you're aware of any loopholes or any things that are going to hinder your experience of the sweetness of that deal. All right, we do have the coffin coming through next. So for some of you, it's got more to do with the termination of a contract, the end of a contract. The coffin does talk about an ending that brings about a new beginning. So it may be, re-signing a contract, but there's some small changes that you're needing to sort of go over and sign off on, that sort of stuff. But for some of you, it's an out and out, terminating a contract. And I'm not really getting that it's anything hugely dramatic. It could just be something little like, signing on to a new energy provider, for example, where you need to re-sign the contracts and start a fresh contract with a new provider and all that sort of stuff. You're ending one contract so that you can move to a new provider. That kind of thing is coming through there. It's definitely for a lot of you paperwork related, and it's got to do with the ritual in process of making sure we're following the process of that properly, that we're needing to close out prior contracts before we start the next contract, is what I'm sort of picking up on here. We do have the anchor coming through as well. So it kind of does let me know that whatever you're ending out here, it's gotten to the point where it's stuck. There's no more forward movement with that in how it is currently. So that's why we're needing to find that new contract, because maybe you're saving money elsewhere by renewing a contract elsewhere. Maybe it's a promotion type thing where you've been feeling very stuck in place, and this is enabling the rebirth of that, so you're no longer stuck and tied down. But it's a lot of stability and kind of reassurance comes through with that anchor as well. So it's kind of like maybe that's why you're re-signing here, so that you have that stability and you can rely and depend on I know exactly what's outlined in this contract. I know what I need to do here, what I'm going to receive in return as well. The sweetness that I'm going to get when the reward at the end of all this unpeeling and all this shuffling through paperwork and whatnot. So it does feel like just something along those lines for you there. Nothing too crazy serious or negative or positive in either end of the spectrum there. It kind of feels like it's a little bit in the middle, just something a little bit more mundane, to be honest. But then in the middle of the month, we do see Tarragon, which is all about regeneration. So, there's that regeneration. The coffin itself is a death and then a rebirth. So here comes that rebirth, that regeneration, that, being able to move forward and aspire to totally brand new things within all this. Like it kind of like a revitalization, a total, because I'm getting the regeneration of like land, for example, where, to regenerate earth, they're planting new things in order to regenerate that section of earth. I know there's a project, they call it the Regeneration Project near me, where they go out and they plant seeds and grow new trees to help regenerate areas where flood damage and things like that has moved the soil. So it's created instability. So it's about regenerating the stability. I feel for a lot of you, especially with that anchor coming through there. It's really a very strong month for you to be regenerating and rebuilding the stability around yourself and in life in general. For a lot of you, I do feel as though this may actually be connected to career for a lot of you, but we will sort of see that as we go through. The end of May, we do see the trust. Okay, so there is an element of trust here. That's basil, by the way, for anyone that didn't notice that one. So we have tarragon and basil. So already we're seeing some lovely herb energy for you here. Tarragon and basil probably both would go really well with corn as well, not going to lie. But basil is very interesting because it's one of them things where you don't want to overdo it. So, it's good to put our trust in things, but we don't overdo it. We don't put too much faith and trust in things. We still need to have that clear-minded thing. So it's kind of reminding us that that's why we check the paperwork and make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, because we might trust that this is just the same old contract, but we're still going to check it anyway because logic, rational part of ourselves needs to have that peace of mind, knowing that we have actually, followed the ritual of making sure, But I will clarify that here because it does feel like there may be something else that you're having to put your trust in at the end of May. Sagittarius, clarify the end of May for our Sagittarius, please. So I do feel for some of you, there may be a feminine energy. We have the woman in the center there that you maybe are needing to give a little bit of extra trust energy to. You're having to, rely and trust on this person a little bit in this situation for May. We do have the flowers followed by the feminine with the book here as well. So it's kind of feeling like a little bit mentorship energy with this feminine energy. Now, even though it's the feminine, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a female. It's just that somebody who is a little bit more emotional, driven. I'm getting impulsive, a little bit impulsive energy there. I'm also getting that it's kind of that boss bitch type energy, but it's with the flowers. It's like you're giving what you wish to receive. Okay, so you may be giving advice in order to receive advice from this person. Especially with knowledge. Knowledge does seem to be something shared here. Education. It's kind of like, well, if you teach me how to do this, I will teach you how to do that. So it's regenerating trust in bartering. I feel for a lot of you, there's this bartering energy here, the give and take, the push and pull between yourself and somebody else here. And it does strongly have to do with knowledge, education, learning from each other. It does feel like, just once again, it's just part of that ritual that you need to, put a certain amount of, give a certain amount of trust to this person so that they will then in turn give a certain amount of trust to you. But it does feel very linked up here with some sort of learning, some sort of educational thing, sharing knowledge, that kind of a thing. I actually just saw a white cat as well. So I don't have cats in my house. So that feels like that might be linked to your situation here, Sagittarius. Small white cat. So that may actually just help you know who that person is, or something that we're learning about that person may be somehow connected to cat, white cat specifically energy. So it's a more innocent, sweet, kind of pure energy there. It is a positive energy there. That just threw me for a second. Sorry, Sagittarius. But looking at your career, job, career, finances for Sagittarius. Job, career, finances for our Sagittarius. It's just observing me. It's just observing me. So it's like maybe that's part of what you're giving is you're just putting trust in somebody, and because maybe with with the book there, like I said, it does bring to mind education and things like that. And what's quite common with education, being tested at the end of the learning. People come and observe and test you. And that's what I'm getting right now with it's kind of really cute, this fluffy little white cat. Um, I can tell it's not a real cat though. So, like I said, I don't have cats. I'm actually allergic to cats, and I'm not sneezing right now. So, but it's very much like just observing and like, so you're giving a little bit of trust to this person that they're going to see what they need to, and you're trusting that they're going to be objective and come from a very rational, logical place. Even though they're a bit of an emotional, impulsive type person, they are going to test you fairly. And the more trust that you're giving to them that they're doing their job correctly, the more you're going to receive the results that you want. From that test, from them observing you. It does feel like an observation, and it's just like sticking their little whiskers and just checking things out and making sure you're doing things the right procedure. Because once again, that ritual coming through there, making sure you're following the procedure or something like that. Like I said, it just threw me a second because it keeps staring at me. Okay, Sagittarius. Job, money, career. What's going on for Sagittarius in May with job, money, career? So yeah, I'm seeing that kind of backed up here as well. So exactly what I was sort of talking about. We have connections coming through first. Teamwork makes the dream work. Allowing others to share their talents and skills with you will help your career and business grow further. Okay, so giving that person the time of day to share their skills and to share their knowledge and learning with you. We also have attention. Be carefully making decisions with your finances, prioritizing your needs over your wants as it affects the harmony in your cash flow. Once again, I'm getting that ritual coming through. You can see here this I don't know what even game that is, but it's like some sort of game, and it's everything is in its little box. All right, and it just feels like financially making sure everything is just, especially with the money side of things, making sure everything is in its little box and that everything is accounted for, in its little box and in its place, in the right place. So maybe that's part of what's being tested here, is that these things are getting double checked or observed, and you're having to make sure you're paying attention and following that correct ritual, that procedure, getting each little thing in the right little box. I'm seeing like Excel worksheets and all that sort of stuff, coming through there, making sure you're doing, asking for help when you need it as well. You're doing the right thing. You're learning how to do this properly, and you're making sure you're doing it properly and following the right procedure here. Assistance. Don't be afraid to ask for assistance. Look, you can see, helping with those Excel spreadsheets right there. There's some resources you've overlooked that would help you resolve your financial issues. Someone is willing to help you recover. So for a lot of you, this is kind of giving that energy of, spreadsheets. Once again, looking over, someone looking over your shoulder, offering you assistance, but they're also, observing that you're doing things in the correct order here. So paying attention to the process and the procedures this month, and relying on the connections, and not being afraid to ask for assistance this month when necessary. Because this person, they're very, very educated, they're very learned, they know the skill that the more that you're giving them the time to, giving them that, when you give someone attention of like, can you help me? They're more likely to ask you for help in the future, or want to give you more knowledge than people that are like, oh, I can do it by myself. you're being open to that assistance, and people like to help other people, especially with, I can do my job really well, so I want to teach everyone how to do it. It's just coming through there. But we'll have a look at health for you as well, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, what does Sagittarius need to know about health, please? Cinnamon. The cinnamon in history has been used in perfumery, also as a formula for holy oil. Everyone was, the importation of cinnamon was did play a big part in history as well. It's combined with other remedies to stimulate the appetite and to prevent nausea and vomiting. It does make the plant is very valuable in cases of diarrhea. Oil of cinnamon has been employed as an antiseptic and is also used in cases of influenza. All right, so it just feels like cinnamon is actually, it says combined with other remedies to stimulate the appetite, to prevent nausea and vomiting. So, for some of you, you may be having trouble with things like eating this month. Ask for assistance. Cinnamon might be a good little additive to some of your food. I personally know some interesting things about cinnamon actually as well, because I do know that used in ointments, there is a couple of ointments that I do actually know about from Chinese medicine, that there is specific ointments where they use them for like varicose veins and stimulating blood flow. They a lot of them have cinnamon as a heavy ingredient in those ointments. So cinnamon is actually, in a lot of cultures, it can actually be used as like a additive to a drink, for example. So I know that it's the big thing about Americans, like, have cinnamon in everything, which, not gonna lie, I've someone gave me cinnamon gum once. An American gave me cinnamon gum once, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever considered. But adding cinnamon to your diet this month may be really useful to you. And who doesn't need an excuse to go and have a cinnamon donut? It might help stimulate your appetite. So if you're having trouble eating, go and grab a cinnamon donut. I feel like that might be all that message is talking about this month for you. But cinnamon, because I'm picking up like someone drinking. I keep getting this image of someone drinking something, like, because I'm seeing the it's actually a turmeric drink. A turmeric drink that they call it golden something. I can't remember. I think it's like an Indian drink, and it's like milk with turmeric added. And I'm seeing that, but with cinnamon and turmeric, and it's like this lovely golden color. So if that's something you're intrigued into trying, go right ahead. Be careful. Don't eat cinnamon powder by itself, guys. Regardless of what you've heard, don't do it. Don't. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. That's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon.